So you entered East Chicago Central
Hmm.
as a freshman, and you tried out for the football team, but you quit. You said it was too hard at the time. Was it
Right.
just too hard, or was you just mainly really want to play basketball?
I just mainly really wanted to play basketball at that time. I mean, it wasn't like it was too hard, like physically.
Hmm.
I mean, it was just different. It,
Yeah.
it, it was different from playing basketball from elementary to that point of being a freshman in high school. So, I just gave it up and just kept on playing basketball.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Now during this time, Coach Agowski was running the program, East Chicago Central. So did he or does any of his coaches come out to recruit just solid athletes, or what made you go back to playing football at the sophomore?
Well, I was in the weight room, and Coach Peterson and Coach Tom, I had got kind of close with them. Just by being in the weight room, and I guess them noticing my athletic ability. One summer, I was in there lifting weights, and Coach E just asked me to come out, and I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. But he
Yeah.
convinced me to come out, and we were doing some passing leagues. We were going over, we were going over to Gately Field to do some 7-on-7 with some of the Chicago schools. We went over to Joliet. We went over to Valpo a few times, and that kind of got my interest going back again. Because I was able to run with some of those good receivers that was in Chicago at that time, and Coach Richards would keep giving me confidence and stuff like that. He told me I can do it, and I was gonna be a good player. Just stick at it. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what got me going back in football.
Okay. So when you transitioned over to play football, would you still play basketball at EC Central, or did you kind of just mainly put your focus in?
Um, that was my sophomore year, and the football season started up that year before the JV
Exactly.
season.
Exactly.
So I had put most of my energy at that time had switched over to football because I started doing well at it.
Okay.
I started off real wet behind the ears, real green, and I was sharing time with Deron Kroom at first at
From
corner.
yeah.
So it was Pachi was at one corner, me and Kroom was splitting time at the other corner, and Kimber Fry and Mark
I
Escobedo
remember Kimmer Fry. Yeah.
was the two safeties. So I was playing well. A lot of times they have different packages and they would bring me in. If it was passing because I had pretty good speed,
Yeah.
and Kroom was in there if they figured they was gonna run and do stuff like that. So we split it time, me and Kroom, my sophomore year, his junior, and towards the end of the season, I was probably getting more time than him at that corner spot.
Good.
Yeah.
Now your sophomore year was Rob Smith senior year,
Oh yes, it was.
and the program was turning around for the better.
Yeah.
Um, you not really knowing because you didn't play your freshman year. Did you see that transformation happening as the season was going in your sophomore year?
Well, again, like you said, I didn't have a lot of history of playing football with those guys, and I stopped playing my freshman year, so I was just in the mix of things. I was just playing. I was still wet behind the ears too,
Yeah.
so I didn't
Yeah.
really notice the transition in the team. I know we were getting better, and it was some players on our team.
Yeah.
That's what I did know, and I mean, it was a good time. Like I said, I was just learning, and we were getting better. And you started seeing more people in East Chicago supporting the football team.
Yeah.
I mean, you used to always have fans come to the game because even when I was a freshman in the eighth grade, when I was at Westside, I used to come to the games and watch Woons and Stride and all those people. But
Yeah.
you seen, more of a following, as we was getting better. Big Rob in his senior year and my
Yeah.
sophomore year.
Okay. Now you're a junior now, and Coach E, he has this solid program that he put into the players about being in great condition. He had like all the different weight meets,
Hmm.
weight competitions, other schools. What did that do for you guys' confidence, knowing that not only was you better athlete, but you was also physically stronger and faster than probably the whole city, or no, the whole state. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, going back to my sophomore year again when Big Rob was a senior. Can't remember exactly what our record
Y'all was
was
4-6 that year, but it was a big improvement.
a much big improvement.
Yeah.
And a lot of those games, I think we should have won. Like
Yeah.
that year, actually, that team, I believe, had more athletes and more big time players than any of those other teams. Because we had my junior year, the team that went 10-1.
Yeah.
Okay, we had all that talent that was on that team, plus Big Rob, Gabe Malave, Alfonso, Kimber Fry, believe it or not, man, he was a pretty big, strong safety to be in high school. He was probably like 6'1".
Yeah.
You know, had good size to him. Mark Escobedo was a good, strong safety, and it's some other guys I'm probably missing because it's been years ago. But
Yeah.
I think that team, uh, we had more talent than the next year team that went 10-1.
Wow.
But like you said, going into my junior year, at that time, we knew we were in a lot of those games my sophomore year that we should have won, and we had that on our minds going into our junior year. And like you said, just the weightlifting meets, we just used to totally dominate those meets against well-known strength programs at that time, like Valpo, Chesterton. I think maybe even Portage came down and competed against us.
Yeah.
Bishop Noel. I think our junior year or my sophomore year or junior was one of the years were bigger than the other. But I mean, we would totally like dominate like every class, and like we knew we had speed, we knew we had athletes, and it was just a matter at that time of us believing in ourselves that we was just much better than anybody in the area. And at that time, we were just starting to gel with confidence, And I think Coach E and them put everything in place for us to gel, So.
Gotcha.